Lisa, a 58-year-old woman with 3 grown children, had never imagined falling in love again after her husband's passing. Life had settled into a predictable rhythm until she met Kevin, a charming 40-year-old man who seemed to bring a spark back into her life. Kevin's attentiveness and kindness were irresistible, and despite her initial reservations, Lisa found herself falling deeply in love with him. After her husband's passing, she dedicated herself to her children and her work, finding solace in the predictability of her daily activities. Her children, now grown and living their own lives, visited often but couldn't fill the void left by her late husband. Lisa's evenings were often spent alone, reminiscing about the past and wondering if she would ever feel truly happy again. Lisa spent most of her time alone. She joined a community group and filled her days with hobbies and memories of the past. Sometimes she would go on holiday alone. After years of hard work, she had retired with enough money to live comfortably, but the loneliness was hard to shake. She missed the companionship and the sense of purpose that came with being surrounded by her loved ones. It was during this vulnerable period that Kevin entered her life. Kevin, with his charm and attentiveness, seemed like a beacon of light in Lisa's otherwise lonely existence. He listened to her stories, shared in her joys and sorrows, and made her feel valued and appreciated. For the first time in years, Lisa felt a sense of companionship and connection. Kevin's presence filled the void left by her children's absence, and she found herself looking forward to their time together. Kevin, however, saw Lisa's loneliness as an opportunity. He knew that her financial stability made her an attractive target, and he used his charm to weave his way into her life. He was always there when she needed someone to talk to, offering support and understanding. Lisa, grateful for the companionship, let her guard down and allowed Kevin to become an integral part of her life. When Kevin entered her life, everything changed. He was charming, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in her well-being. His youthful energy and charm were like a breath of fresh air. He was attentive, always ready to listen to her stories and share his own. For the first time in years, Lisa felt seen and valued. She felt a spark of joy she hadn't felt in years. Kevin listened to her, made her laugh, and filled the empty spaces in her heart. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel alone. Kevin's presence filled the empty spaces in her heart, and she found herself looking forward to their time together. Kevin's support was unwavering. He was there for her during her moments of doubt and sadness, offering a shoulder to lean on and words of encouragement. Lisa felt a renewed sense of hope and joy, believing that she had found a second chance at love. Kevin's attentiveness made her feel special and cherished, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Kevin quickly became a fixture in Lisa's life. He offered to help with household chores and errands, gradually taking on more responsibilities. Lisa, grateful for his support, began to rely on him more and more. However, while Lisa was basking in the warmth of Kevin's affection, he was meticulously calculating his way into her life. He learned about her routines, her likes and dislikes, and most importantly, her financial situation. Kevin's charm was a facade, masking his true intentions. He knew exactly how to make Lisa feel loved and secure, all the while planning his next move. Kevin's previous wife had mysteriously passed away, leaving him a substantial fortune. His past was shrouded in mystery and deceit. Before he met Lisa, he had been married to a wealthy woman named Margaret. Their relationship seemed perfect on the surface, but beneath the facade, Kevin was meticulously planning his future. Margaret was significantly older than Kevin, and she had a substantial fortune from her successful business ventures. One fateful night, Margaret's life came to a tragic end. She was found dead in their home, and the circumstances surrounding her death were suspicious. The official cause was ruled as an accidental fall down the stairs, but whispers of foul play lingered. Kevin, who had been the one to discover her body, played the role of the grieving widower perfectly. He was devastated, or so it seemed. In the months following Margaret's death, Kevin inherited her entire estate. The substantial fortune left him financially secure, but questions about the true nature of Margaret's death never fully disappeared. Some of Margaret's friends and family suspected that Kevin had a hand in her demise, but there was no concrete evidence to prove it. The case was eventually closed, and Kevin moved on with his life, richer and seemingly unscathed. Kevin's charm and ability to manipulate those around him were his greatest assets. He knew how to present himself as the perfect partner, attentive and caring, while hiding his true intentions. When he met Lisa, he saw another opportunity. Her financial stability and loneliness made her an ideal target. Kevin used the same tactics he had perfected with Margaret, slowly weaving his way into Lisa's life and gaining her trust. As Kevin's relationship with Lisa deepened, he began to isolate her from her children and friends. He made subtle excuses for why they couldn't visit, ensuring that he remained her primary source of support. Lisa, grateful for his companionship, didn't see the red flags. Kevin's past was a dark shadow that loomed over their relationship, but Lisa was blissfully unaware of the danger she was in. Her children, initially skeptical of Kevin's intentions, gradually warmed up to him. He seemed genuine, always going out of his way to make Lisa happy. However, beneath his charming exterior, Kevin harbored a dark secret. Kevin's calculated moves and charming facade hid a sinister plan. He had done it before with Margaret, and now he was ready to do it again with Lisa. The stakes were high, and Kevin was determined to succeed, no matter the cost. He had a history of targeting wealthy women, and Lisa, with her comfortable inheritance, was his next target. He reassured Lisa that he was only looking out for her best interests. Meanwhile, he subtly isolated her from her children and friends. Lisa's children started to notice the change. Their mother seemed more distant. Whenever they wanted to visit, Kevin would make excuses. "Lisa's not feeling well today," he would say, or "she's resting, maybe another time." Their attempts to visit were often thwarted by Kevin's excuses. They grew concerned but couldn't pinpoint what was wrong. Friends who tried to reach out were met with similar barriers. Kevin always had a reason why Lisa couldn't see them. When Kevin proposed to Lisa, her children were taken aback. They had seen how happy their mother seemed with Kevin, but they couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Her eldest son, David, decided to have a heart-to-heart conversation with her. "Mom," David began gently, "I think Kevin is a nice man, but do you really trust him enough to make him your husband? You've only known him for a short time." Lisa looked at her son, her eyes filled with uncertainty. "I understand your concerns, David, but Kevin has been so good to me. He makes me feel alive again." David sighed, trying to find the right words. "I know, Mom, but we just want to make sure you're safe. We don't want you to rush into anything." Lisa nodded, appreciating her son's concern. "I promise I'll think about it." Meanwhile, David and his siblings devised a plan with their mother's lawyer. They decided to open a trust and transfer all of Lisa's assets into it before the wedding took place. This way, they could protect her financial interests in case Kevin's intentions were not as pure as they seemed. Kevin, on the other hand, was eager to move forward with the wedding. He insisted that it should take place soon, which only heightened the children's suspicions. Lisa, beginning to have doubts herself, decided to play along with her children's plan. "Kevin," she said one evening, "I think we should wait a little longer before getting married. I want to make sure everything is perfect." Kevin's smile faltered for a moment, but he quickly recovered. "Of course, Lisa. Whatever makes you happy." Behind the scenes, Lisa worked with her lawyer to transfer her assets into the trust. She felt a pang of guilt for doubting Kevin, but her children's concerns weighed heavily on her mind. She couldn't ignore the possibility that they might be right. As the days passed, Lisa's doubts grew. She noticed small inconsistencies in Kevin's stories and subtle manipulations in his behavior. Her children continued to support her, reassuring her that they were doing the right thing. The tension between Kevin and Lisa's children was palpable, but they maintained a facade of civility. Kevin, unaware of the trust, continued to push for a quick wedding, while Lisa and her children prepared for the inevitable confrontation. Lisa's heart was heavy, with conflicting emotions. She wanted to believe in Kevin's love, but the evidence of his deceit was becoming harder to ignore. She knew that the truth would soon come to light, and she braced herself for the storm that was about to unfold. Despite her initial reservations about remarrying, Lisa couldn't deny the happiness Kevin brought into her life. She felt less alone, more alive, and hopeful for the future. Kevin's presence was a stark contrast to the loneliness she had endured, and she clung to the newfound companionship he offered. 6 months into their marriage, Kevin's true nature began to surface. He seemed so caring and devoted. But beneath his charming facade, Kevin was meticulously planning his next move. He knew that Lisa's heart condition made her vulnerable, and he used this to his advantage. He started tampering with her medicine, replacing it with something that made her increasingly tired and sick. Lisa, trusting her husband, had no reason to suspect foul play. Kevin played the role of the devoted husband perfectly, taking care of Lisa as her health deteriorated. He learned about Lisa's routines, her medical needs, and her financial situation. While Lisa saw him as a loving partner, Kevin was calculating how to exploit her trust and take control of her assets. Lisa's journey with Kevin was a bittersweet mix of genuine affection and calculated deceit. While she found temporary solace in his company, the truth of his intentions would eventually come to light, revealing the shadows lurking behind his charming facade. He studied Lisa's financial information gradually and calculated the process. He started by building a strong foundation of trust with Lisa. He was always there for her, listening to her concerns and offering support. This made Lisa feel comfortable and secure in his presence. He often offered to help Lisa with various tasks, including managing her household and running errands. Over time, he began to assist her with more personal matters, such as organizing her paperwork and handling minor financial items. As their relationship deepened, financial Lisa agreed. As he gained access to her bank accounts and financial documents, he was careful not to raise any suspicions. He gradually gained access to her bank accounts, credit cards, and other financial documents. He would often reassure Lisa that he was only looking out for her best interests. Knowing that Lisa had a heart condition and relied on her medication, Kevin used her vulnerability to his advantage. He made her feel dependent on him for both emotional and practical support, further solidifying his control over her finances. By that time, Lisa's children had begun to suspect something was wrong. Kevin had already gained significant control over her financial affairs. Lisa, unaware of Kevin's true intentions, felt grateful for his constant care. She believed she had found a second chance at happiness. But her children, sensing something was amiss, decided to dig deeper. They started investigating Kevin's past, determined to uncover the truth. The more they learned, the more alarmed they became. Kevin's history was filled with deceit and manipulation. They realized that their mother was in grave danger. With growing urgency, they planned to confront Kevin and save Lisa from his sinister plans. The confrontation was inevitable, and the stakes were high. Lisa's children knew they had to act quickly before it was too late. The truth about Kevin's intentions would soon come to light, revealing the shadows lurking behind his charming smile. Her children, noticing the change in their mother, grew increasingly concerned. Lisa, once vibrant and full of life, seemed to be fading before their eyes. David, her eldest son, was particularly worried. He had always been close to his mother and could sense that something was terribly wrong. David decided to take a closer look at the medication Lisa was taking. He knew her prescriptions well and immediately noticed that the pills she was now taking were different from what had been prescribed. Alarmed, he took the pills to a pharmacist friend who confirmed his worst fears. "This medication is not what it should be used for, David," the pharmacist said, his eyes looking at the medication. "How long has your mom been taking these pills?" he asked. "These medication can cause a heart attack, David. With your mom's condition, she shouldn't be taking these medication." It appeared that Kevin had been giving Lisa something to slowly make her sick. Determined to protect their mother, David and his siblings began to investigate Kevin's past. They dug into his history and discovered a disturbing pattern of deceit and manipulation. Kevin had a history of targeting wealthy women, charming them, and then exploiting their trust for financial gain. His previous wife's mysterious death and the substantial fortune he inherited only added to their suspicions. Meanwhile, Kevin was meticulously planning Lisa's exit. He believed he had everything under control, unaware that Lisa and her children were onto him. Having been warned by her children, decided to play along with Kevin's plan. She pretended to take the medication he gave her, but in reality, she was only pretending to be weak and sick. Lisa's act was convincing. Kevin, thinking his plan was working, continued to administer the tainted medication, believing that Lisa was becoming more dependent on him. He was confident that soon, he would be able to take full control of her assets. David and his siblings, armed with the knowledge of Kevin's past and the evidence of his tampering with Lisa's medication, prepared to confront him. They knew they had to act quickly to save their mother from Kevin's sinister plans. The tension in the house was palpable, but Lisa remained resolute, determined to see Kevin's true nature exposed. David collected the tampered medication and had it analyzed by a trusted pharmacist. They also documented the changes in Lisa's health and behavior since Kevin started giving her the new pills. This evidence would be crucial in proving Kevin's malicious intent. The kids also consulted with their mother's lawyer, who was already aware of the trust they had set up to protect Lisa's assets. The lawyer advised them on the legal steps they could take and agreed to be present during the confrontation to provide legal support. As the day of the confrontation approached, Lisa's children stayed close, ready to protect her at all costs. They had uncovered the truth about Kevin, and now it was time to bring his deceitful schemes to an end. The stage was set for a dramatic showdown, and Lisa was ready to fight for her life and her family's future. They chose a time when Kevin would be home and Lisa would be resting, pretending to be weak from the medication. This would ensure that Kevin was caught off guard and unable to escape. Kevin was in the living room, unaware of the storm about to hit. David approached him calmly, starting a conversation about Lisa's health and the medication she was taking. "Kevin," David began, "we need to talk about Mom's medication. We've noticed some changes in her health, and we're concerned." Kevin, trying to maintain his composure, replied, "I'm doing everything I can to take care of her. She's just been very weak lately." David nodded, then pulled out the evidence they had gathered. "These pills you've been giving her, they're not what was prescribed. We had them analyzed, and they're making her sick." Kevin's face paled, but he tried to deny it. "I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do anything to harm Lisa." At that moment, the lawyer stepped in, holding a folder of documents. "Kevin, we know about your past. We've uncovered your history of deceit and manipulation, and we've taken steps to protect Lisa's assets. Everything has been transferred into a trust account." Kevin's eyes widened in shock. "A trust account? You can't do that." The lawyer continued, "It's already done. You have no access to her finances. And now you need to answer for your actions." The police officer, who had been waiting in the other room, stepped forward. "Kevin, you're under arrest for attempted murder and fraud. You have the right to remain silent." As Kevin was handcuffed and led away, he looked back at Lisa, who was watching from the doorway, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and resolve. Kevin was taken to the police station, his plans unraveling before him. The following day, Lisa, dressed in a striking red dress and heels, walked into the police station. Her strength and determination were evident in every step. When Kevin was called from his cell, he was shocked to see her. She didn't look sick or close to death. His eyes widened in disbelief. Lisa smiled coldly. "I bet you think you saw a ghost, didn't you? You thought I was dying soon, right?" Kevin's mouth opened, but no words came out. He was speechless, unable to comprehend how his plan had failed so spectacularly. Lisa continued, her voice steady and strong. "You underestimated me, Kevin. You thought you could take everything from me, but you were wrong. My children and I are stronger than you ever imagined. Enjoy your time in prison." With that, Lisa turned and walked away, leaving Kevin to face the consequences of his actions. She felt a sense of closure and relief, knowing that she had taken back control of her life and protected her family's future. After days of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Kevin was found guilty of attempted murder and fraud. The judge, recognizing the severity of his actions, sentenced him to a lengthy prison term. Kevin's face was a mask of disbelief as he was led away in handcuffs. Lisa and her children felt a sense of relief and closure. The court case had been a harrowing experience, but they had emerged stronger and more united. Lisa's health began to improve, and she focused on rebuilding her life with the support of her family. The ordeal had taught them all the importance of vigilance and the strength of their bond. The courtroom drama had come to an end, but the lessons learned would stay with them forever. Lisa had faced her darkest fears and emerged victorious, ready to embrace the future with hope and resilience. Lisa, though heartbroken by the betrayal, was grateful for her children's vigilance. Finding out the truth about Kevin was a devastating blow for Lisa. Just when she thought she had found true love again, her world came crashing down. Kevin had been a beacon of light in her life, filling the void left by her late husband and bringing joy and companionship she hadn't felt in years. She had trusted him completely, believing in the sincerity of his affection and the promises of a future together. When her children revealed Kevin's deceit, Lisa felt a profound sense of betrayal. The man she had opened her heart to, who had been by her side during her most vulnerable moments, turned out to be a fraud. The realization that Kevin had been manipulating her, slowly making her sick to gain control of her assets, was almost too much to bear. Lisa's sadness was overwhelming. She felt foolish for having been so easily deceived, and the emotional pain was compounded by the physical weakness caused by the tampered medication. The dreams she had of a happy future with Kevin were shattered, replaced by a harsh reality of lies and betrayal. Despite the support of her children, Lisa couldn't help but feel a deep sense of loss. She mourned not only the relationship she thought she had, but also the trust and hope that had been so cruelly taken from her. The experience left her wary and guarded, a stark reminder of how easily trust can be exploited. Yet, amidst the sadness, Lisa found strength in her family's love and support. They stood by her, helping her navigate the difficult path to recovery and justice. From her painful experience with Kevin, Lisa emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. She decided to dedicate her life to helping other women avoid the same pitfalls she had encountered. Lisa knew firsthand how easy it was to be deceived when vulnerable, and she wanted to use her story to empower others. Lisa began by sharing her experience through local support groups and community centers. She spoke openly about the importance of being cautious about who you allow into your life and how much control you give them. Her story resonated with many women who had faced similar situations or were at risk of falling into the same traps. She also collaborated with legal and financial experts to create workshops focused on safeguarding personal and financial well-being. These workshops provided practical advice on how to verify the intentions of new partners, recognize red flags, and protect one's assets. Lisa emphasized the importance of maintaining control over one's financial affairs and not relying entirely on someone else, no matter how trustworthy they seemed. In addition to her workshops, Lisa volunteered at shelters for women who had escaped abusive relationships. She offered emotional support and practical guidance, helping them rebuild their lives with confidence and independence. Her empathy and understanding made her a trusted mentor and friend to many. Through her dedication, Lisa transformed her painful experience into a powerful force for good. She became a beacon of hope and strength for countless women, teaching them to be vigilant, trust their instincts, and protect themselves from those who might seek to exploit their vulnerability. Lisa's journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of turning adversity into a catalyst for positive change. The moral of the story is to always be vigilant and trust your instincts, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. While it's essential to trust others, it's equally important to verify their intentions and background. You need to be more cautious about who you allow into your heart. There are many scammers out there and men that want to benefit from women. It emphasizes the importance of family support, the power of love and unity in overcoming deceit and manipulation. True love and trust cannot be built on lies, and it is crucial to protect oneself and loved ones from those who seek to exploit vulnerability for personal gain. Thank you for watching Granny G Stories. Please subscribe to the channel for more stories.